This is the complete story series brought to you by Team Comicstorian. It's the most epic way to recap your favorite storylines with music, voices, and sound effects, but we do highly recommend you pick up your favorite comic books as we do leave out some of the plot points to allow for a speedier recap. Now with the new movie out, let's go ahead and do the second part of Boom's amazing Power Rangers run. In our last video, Tommy has been having problems breaking free of Rita's control. After lashing out towards the others, he managed to gain control of himself and work with the other Rangers to stop Scorpina. But in the end, after the Rangers defeated and captured Scorpina, a new foe emerged and destroyed the command center along with Zordon and Alpha. Not long before the arrival of Tommy, Rita watches the Prime Minister of Italy speaking out to the public that they will not bend to her will and that they are not afraid of her. Shortly after watching that, though, Rita has released a four-armed creature to attack Italy's cities. As the creature begins to destroy the cities, the Power Rangers appear in their Megazord to battle against it, and as the fight went on, the creature turned his attention down towards the fleeing civilians, one of which being the Prime Minister. As the creature reached out to grab him, Jason jumps from the Zord, stabbing the creature in its chest to stop it. Jason then jumped down to the Prime Minister, telling him that they need to hurry and get out of there. But before they could teleport away, the creature gets back up and grabs them. Before it can, though, Zack takes control of the Megazord and cuts through the creature's chest. Kim tells him that that was the best thing that could have happened, a literal killer swipe. And as the Rangers jump down to check on the people, they all begin to cheer for Jason having saved the Prime Minister. As they cheer, Zack turns away, questioning why no one is cheering for him since he was the one who stopped the creature. And then up on the moon, Rita watches and takes notice of Zack's concern. One day back in the States, Zack heads home when a group of putties attack him. Zack manages to fight off several of them, but as the group starts to grow back, they overpower him and Goldar tells them to take him away. A short while later, Zack starts to wake up chained and bound, with Rita's voice telling him that she's sorry about the ambush, but he can have her word that she comes in peace. Zack tells her that he somehow doubts that. Rita waves her arm, removing the chains, telling him that there won't be any tricks, but as you can see, he still has his power coin. In fact, he can leave anytime that he wants. Zack asks what she could possibly want, and she says that just like she said, she has come to talk and express how he handled things in Italy. Because he's the real reason that the Rangers won. It was him who took control of the Megazord when Jason jumped out to run off and be the Glory Hound. Zack watches without saying a word. Rita tells him that she thinks they may have gotten off on the wrong foot. Let her show him something. The two of them teleport away, and as Zack looks around, Rita says that this is part of her palace. When someone is trapped in a dumpster for 10,000 years, one comes to appreciate open floors. Zack asks if he's supposed to feel sorry for her, and Rita says that she doesn't really want all of this destruction and bad blood between them. Really, it was Zordon who hasn't given her much choice and started using the Zords to attack her. Rita goes on to state that really all she wants to do is help Earth reach its full potential under her leadership. As an orb begins to light up, it shows images of wars across the Earth, and Rita says that they can stop all of these skirmishes. Zack asks her what she means by that, and she tells him that because she thinks that he could be more, he could be on her team. Images start to change to a Green Ranger, and Rita says that under her, he could be the one to lead. He could change the world to a better place. The images show the Green Ranger taking off his helmet, and they reveal Zack. Zack watches the images and says that she's right. They should be doing more. Goldar says that he's making a very smart decision, but as he finishes his sentence, Zack turns back, punching Goldar. Zack quickly catches his coin, but Rita shocks him down and Goldar grabs onto him. Zack manages to punch back Goldar and hit his communicator and teleport out. Back down to the command center, Zack explains to Zordon what happened, and he tells them that for now, that they should keep the situation between themselves so that they don't alarm anyone else on the team. Zack says the weird thing is that they were being honest. He was almost tempted in what he saw. And Zordon tells him that it means that he is human for wanting the best in the world. It is an undeniable and admirable quality. That is why he is honored to work with a Power Ranger such as himself. Back on the moon, Rita sits watching Tommy, stating that they will need to start with a clean slate, someone who isn't already a Power Ranger. And as she says that, a voice tells her that he will leave. He will turn his back and join them. Rita calls out who's there, and a voice tells her that she's truly ready to rule the world. When she sees that he is right, she will then see him. Back in the current time, after the events of the first volume of the story, which you can find a link to down below, the voice has made himself known to the Rangers and told them that he would offer them one chance to surrender, though he already knows what the answer would be. Jason shouts to the Black Dragon that there is no chance in hell that they are surrendering, and he tells him, "Good, I would have thought much less of you otherwise." Just then the Black Dragon opens up its mouth and released a powerful blast, stripping away the Rangers' suits. As he walks towards them, Kim takes out her bow and fires an arrow, stopping the blast. Kim shouts for everyone to hurry and move in, and all of the Rangers jump into attack, but the Black Dragon blasts them away again and knocks Tommy away with his tail. The Black Dragon then grabs a hold of Jason and releases more of the blast directly onto him, and Trini and Billy attack to free him. As the Rangers gather around, Jason tells him that this is his last chance, and the Black Dragon responds with, "I think I'll pass." He holds out his arm and he fires a beam, launching Jason and Trini into a wall. Trini then calls out that they need to retreat before things get worse, and the Black Dragon picks up Tommy, telling him, "You're rather unique. Let's make you a bit more normal then." He begins ripping the dragon armor off, and Zack jumps and swinging his axe, telling him to let go. Jason shouts that he's going to teleport them to a pocket dimension, so hang on, and the Rangers all begin to teleport away. But the Black Dragon grabs Billy and tells him, "Not so fast." As everyone teleports away, the Black Dragon throws Billy to the ground and says, "I only needed one of you." Billy tries to fight back, but after a blast to the face, the Black Dragon throws him to the ground and says out loud, "Rita, they are ready." Meanwhile, the other Rangers are teleported to the pocket dimension, and without Zordon with them, it's beginning to fall apart. Zack asks what happened, and Kim says that it was like someone was peeling the skin off of them with a knife. But as everyone checks on one another, they all notice that Billy isn't with them. Jason scans back to see what's going on in the command center, but Rita's forces have already begun making their way inside. Kim asks Tommy if any of Rita's visions can answer anything about what's going on or who this Black Dragon is, and he says that Scorpina mentioned the crystal was charged with the green chaos energy, but other than that, he has no clue what's going on. Zack tells him that this whole Black Dragon thing is tied to him, and he doesn't know? Tommy shouts no, he doesn't, and Kim jumps between them before the argument can get any further. She tells them both that they're supposed to be friends, and right now, there is another friend who needs them all. As the two of them step back and cool off, Trini looks at a display, asking what they're supposed to do to bring everyone back. Back at the command center, Rita says that she was skeptical of him contacting her at first, but with the exception of losing Scorpina, this operation went much better than expected. The Black Dragon says the Rangers have fled to a pocket dimension, and even without being able to follow them, I have another way to deal with them. Black Dragon grabs Billy's power coin and says that he's going to use it as an access point to the Morphin grid. He holds up the green crystal and he fires a blast through it into the power coin. Back over in the pocket dimension, Tommy explains that it's possible that Rita has taken Billy into the dark dimension. And just as Jason tries to figure out a plan, everyone but Tommy begins to scream in pain. A light shines on everyone and Tommy looks at them all without their powers, asking what's happened. As Rita's forces make their way into the command center, the Black Dragon looks over Jason's Zord, and then he opens his mouth, creating a blast. The Zord's eyes light up, and he tells it, "It's time to wake up." Elsewhere in the command center, Rita sits on her throne, stating it's good to be the queen. And then she picks up Alpha's head, asking, "Wouldn't you agree?" She tosses it on the ground, telling the putties to go ahead and melt him down. But as Alpha's head hits the ground, his lights begin to turn on. While everyone tries to figure out what happened to their powers, Tommy heads off on his own, and he watches the video feed from just before the attack. Kim wakes up, telling him that she's not sure how watching that is going to help. But they both sit down, and Tommy says so much for making a good first impression. She tells him technically, his first impression was him trying to kill them all. They smile, and Tommy says that he wants to do a good job. And Kim says that right now he's the only one with powers, so something tells her that he's going to have a shot at proving that. But before they can go on, the display changes to Rita, telling the people of Earth, "Hello!" A broadcast around the world plays as Rita tells the world that she has a message of unity today. Their wars have gone on far too long. She is here to give the leaders of the world 24 hours to stand down and pledge allegiance to her before she destroys them. And for those wondering about the Power Rangers, they will not be coming to save them. In fact, she has taken over their home. So they have 24 hours to come to their senses before she releases the Zords and attacks any nation who doesn't pledge loyalty. Tommy and Kim run to the others to see if they are watching this, and they ask what are they supposed to do. Jason says that from what Trini has gathered, it seems the Black Dragon is somehow interfering with them being able to access the Morphin grid, which would explain why Tommy isn't affected. Trini then adds that she wouldn't exactly know where to start. Billy is the one who understood all of this. Tommy tells everyone that he might have a plan because if Billy has been taken to the dark dimension, they could go to Rita's moon base and access the portal there. Since most of her forces are down here, it shouldn't be hard getting in. Zack asks how they're supposed to get there, and Jason and Tommy smile. A short while later, they launch into space in the Dragon Zord, and they land on the moon. The putties on guard begin to notice something in the distance, and then they see the Dragon Zord's eyes begin to glow. Tommy fires missiles at the post and jumps out, telling Jason to keep the engine running. While Jason creates a distraction, Tommy sneaks into the base and makes his way to the teleporter room. But before he can access it, the Black Dragon tells him, "Welcome back." Back in the pocket dimension, Zach tells Trini that it might be time for her to take a break. She's been trying to figure this thing out ever since they got here, and Trini says that this was all her fault. She wouldn't have told Jason that they needed to retreat. If they didn't, then maybe. But before she can go on, the screen beeps with an incoming transmission. As Trini looks at the screen, she asks if that's Alpha. Up on the moon, the Black Dragon throws Tommy aside and sees the Dragon Zord and says he's guessing that Jason's up there. But since he doesn't have powers, maybe he should grow to his size to fight? The Black Dragon begins fighting and struggling with the Zord, but he quickly overpowers it and knocks it into the air. Tommy calls out to Jason, but then he feels something grabbing his helmet. The Black Dragon holds Tommy up and tells him, "You have a much bigger problem to worry about." As he holds him up, the Black Dragon goes on to state, "You had it all. Why turn your back on Rita, only to die alone here on the moon?" And Tommy tells him that dying is definitely not a part of the plan. He calls back his dragon armor and slips out from the Black Dragon's grasp, and he tells Jason that he could really use a distraction now. Jason shouts that he's kind of working on it. First, he needs to get things stabilized. He then makes a run for the base, but the Black Dragon stomps in his way, stating, "Nice, but you're not getting off of this moon." After dodging the next attack, Tommy tells him that he wasn't really trying to leave. He just wanted to grab the putty cannon, because low gravity makes holding this thing a lot easier. The cannon goes off, but the Black Dragon claps his hands together, creating a force throwing Tommy away. Tommy tells him that it says an awful lot about him, staying 30 stories tall to fight him. The Black Dragon slowly begins to shrink down in size and says, "You're right. Wouldn't want to give you any excuses for losing, now would I?" Tommy gets back up and he jumps towards him, but the Black Dragon swings his arm, knocking Tommy to the ground. He then takes both of his fists and he slams down on Tommy's helmet over and over, and then he stops. Tommy asks why he's hesitating, and then the roar of the Dragon Zord can be heard as it rockets down towards them. The crash breaks off one of the Black Dragon's arms and throws him to the side. Jason quickly teleports Tommy into the cockpit and says that the putties are fortifying the base. They miss their shot for now. The Black Dragon looks up and sees the Dragon Zord escaping back towards the Earth. And a few moments later in the pocket dimension, Jason teleports in holding Tommy and the Black Dragon's broken arm, telling everyone that he needs some help. Kim asks what happened, but Tommy lays down stating that he's fine. Just give him a few minutes. Jason says the Black Dragon got them separated and Tommy fought as long as he could, but they couldn't find Billy. Trini picks up the broken arm asking what this is, and Jason says he's not sure what they can do with it. Maybe run a scan on it or something? A voice then asks if that's Jason, and Jason runs to the screen asking if it's really Alpha. Alpha says that he was just telling Trini that his backup systems are functional, but for how long is unknown. Trini asks if he was able to see what's going on, and Alpha says that currently their powers in the Zords are being controlled by the Black Dragon using Billy's power coin. Kim asks how he can do that. Who is the Black Dragon anyway? And Alpha tells him that he's not sure. Jason then tells everyone that Rita's time limit is almost up. They need to hurry and figure out a way to get their powers back. Meanwhile, back at the command center, Rita then asks how it is that he just let them go. The Black Dragon tells her, "I underestimated the Green Ranger, but when I destroy him, I want him at full power." And Rita asks him, "And why is that again?" He doesn't say anything as Finster continues working on his arm. And Rita says that she did see what happened on the moon. He had him, but it was as if he hesitated. The Black Dragon stands up stating that he's doing all of this because she couldn't conquer Earth alone, and that is why he is helping. So what he does is none of her concern, but his only request is that he is the only one to destroy the Green Ranger. He snaps his arm back into place and says the next time that he encounters him, he will not hesitate to deliver the final blow. Back over in the pocket dimension, Zach sits with Tommy telling him that Jason says that he went toe-to-toe with the dragon when he was 30 stories tall. And Tommy says he tried to at least. And Zach says that's pretty ridiculous. But Tommy adds, maybe not one of his best ideas. Zach apologizes to him, stating that he really shouldn't have doubted him because of what Rita did. Heck, only one of them has ever taken on a 30-story monster by themselves, even if that wasn't the best idea. But then something dawns on Tommy. He gets up and asks Trini if the arm can be used to make some kind of a blast on its own. Trini tells him maybe, but why would that even matter? And Tommy says that they've all lost their powers because they were cut off in the Morphin grid, right? So what if they all used his access? Jason asks what does that even mean, and Tommy explains that if they try and morph, they should be able to blast the filter through his coin to give them all his powers. Alpha says that splitting the Green Ranger powers amongst them would provide an alternate way to access the Morphin grid, but it would leave Tommy powerless. As Tommy looks back, he tells them, alone, he won't be able to do much, but with the help of everyone else, well, it's worth a shot. He picks up the arm and he places it over his own, and he tells everyone to get ready. They all get into place, and Jason calls out for them to morph. As everyone calls out their Zords, the green light begins to fill the room with a sudden flash. Tommy looks at everyone and says, that's different. Everyone changed into their power suits, but they're all green. And that resolves Power Rangers Volume 2. This story seriously gets insane and amazing with Volume 3, and we are going to get it out soon. We were waiting to do the rest of this when it tied into the movie, which is now out. I haven't seen it as of recording this, so I hope it's pretty good, but, you know, don't have a lot of hope. But anyway, it's a Power Rangers movie. We're going to check it out. Hope you guys enjoy. If you want to see more of this comic series and other comic books dramatically read back to you, subscribe to this channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian. I'll see you all next time right here.